Okay, so you're having a little bit of bother with the probability race, so let me show you how to do it. Now, when you open the start file, what you're presented with is 12 cats, a roll sprite and a finish sprite. Now, in each of the cats you have a little piece of code that just positions the cat and makes sure it can be seen. Now, to simulate the rolling of 2 dice, what we need to do is introduce some variables. Now, I've already introduced 2 variables, dice 1 and dice 2, and I'll show you how I did that by introducing the third. So you literally just click on make a variable, type in the name of it, so this one is sum of dice, and click OK. So there's my 3 variables that I'm going to use. Now, I'm going to go to the roll sprite and introduce some code so that we can simulate the rolling of 2 dice. So, firstly I want them all to be 0. So, I'm going to set the 3 variables to be 0. So I'm just going to get these 3 in there. So, dice 2 and sum of dice all to be 0. And I want this this click to roll button to disappear later, so I'm going to want it to be coming back. So I want to click show in here as well to make sure that it's there. Right, so let's roll the dice. So when this sprite is clicked, so when roll is clicked, what I want to do is change these values of the variable. So I'm going to set the value of dice 1 to be a random number between 1 and 6, just to simulate the dice, and I want this to happen for dice 2 also, so I'm just going to duplicate that and say dice 2, and then what I want is to set the other variable, which is the sum of dice, to be literally the sum of the 2 dice. So get my little sum operator in there, go back to the variables, and then say this is dice 1 plus dice 2. Once I've added those values and I've got a number, then I want to broadcast that number. So I'm going to click on broadcast, variables, and I'm going to broadcast the sum of the dice. Okay, so that's going to be absolutely fine, and what I want is to make the cats move. So if I go onto one of the cats, and I'll show you how to do that. Right, so if we go back to the control and say that when this actually receives a value, so this is cat 1, so when it receives 1, then I want the cat to move, and I'm going to move it a certain amount, so I'm going to say 30 steps. Now I want to know whether this cat has won the race, so we do that by looking at the x coordinate of the cat, and you see that beyond the finish line the x coordinate down here you can see is about 200. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in a little if statement that says if, get my little inequality, back to motion, so if my x position is greater than 200, then I want to broadcast win. So let's broadcast win. Okay, and that means that that cat will win. Now I need this on all the cats, so what I can do is just literally click on the stamp tool, duplicate it, drop it into another cat, and when I go in there, just go through and change these to the number of the cat, and then we'll be absolutely fine. So I can go through and do all of those. Now what I need to do is do something with this broadcasting of a win. I want this to disappear, so when I receive win, then what I'm going to do is hide this button, so that means that someone can't carry on pressing it afterwards. And this item here, I don't want this finish sprite to be on the screen at the start, so I'm going to make that disappear by saying that when the green flag is clicked, then I'm going to hide it, but when it receives win, then what's going to happen is it's going to show. Okay, and then we're ready to go. Have a fun playing with it, and hopefully that helps you to program your code.